So I said, I took my hat off and I said, oh yeah, well actually you see these symbols on the side, bro? Well, basically like we had a premortal life and how now on this piece of paper with this little pencil, I got an actual referral.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up.
Hey guys, welcome back to Ward Radio Morning Edition. I have a fun little cup of carton here, an Ellis energy drink, a story, if you will, about a hidden secret built into the War in Heaven veteran hats. There's a built-in first discussion that you may not have realized was there. And when I was designing the hat, I didn't even know was there either, but has yielded, I believe, the first referral, if you will, of a Ward Radio discussion, for lack of a better term. So anyway, let me just relate to you the story and tell you how it happened and how now on this piece of paper with this little pencil, I got an actual referral to send a Book of Mormon and a Bible and a War in Heaven veteran hat to our new friend, Andrew, all right, of Los Angeles, California. So this is how it happened. You guys may be familiar with our War in Heaven veteran hats, okay? About Friday night, I believe around midnight, I was up late and I finally got them in the merch store. And literally within like 8 to 12 hours by Saturday afternoon, they were completely sold out. Within less than a day, they were completely sold out. Why? Because they're cool. And they're actually based off of this prototype that Jonah Barnes actually made way back that we slowly improved upon, okay, and finally yielded us this one right here. But a really cool thing that Jonah had come up with that we actually have maintained on, let me see, it's this side of the hat. Okay, do you see all of those symbols right there? I just thought they looked cool when Jonah made them, but they actually ended up becoming the subject, the catalyst for this impromptu first discussion as well. This mini lesson. I mean, we're giving you visual aids in our merch. Our merch comes with visual aids, people. So anyway, let me tell you how it all came to be. So look at the original prototype hat, okay? Do you guys see all of the symbols right here? Well, this is demonstrative of, wait for it, I'll let you look at it for a second. See if you can't figure it out yourself. Anybody that's familiar with Doctrine of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can probably quite easily guess what all of these symbols mean. But for the uninitiated, it's basically, you got the premortal life here, then the veil, then you've got the mortal life on earth where your spirit is inside of your body and you actually are a complete soul. And then you've got, again, the veil after you die, spirit prison in paradise, final judgment through the veil. And then there's 1, 2, 3 degrees of glory with that little mini dot representing outer darkness. Okay. Well, I don't have a cool actual hat like you guys do. I made sure I put every single one of our hats. Oh boy, that's speaking of hat head. Look at that. I made sure that every single one of our hats that was available was on the store for you guys. So this is actually a prototype, and you can tell because it doesn't have the green bill on here. All the ones that you guys get have a green bill, but it says first class body recipient with the really cool, oh, if I can get it to focus here, it says first class body recipient with the cool Nauvoo Legion flag right there. And then also these same symbols here. Okay. Well, I went to the Los Angeles Central Library on Saturday morning. I've lived in LA County my entire life, but I'd never actually gone to the Los Angeles Central Library in all my years here in Los Angeles since childhood. I've been to pretty much every other single architectural and cultural marvel in Los Angeles, every sporting arena, every spot that you can go to, except for the Central Library. And I love libraries, so that's kind of odd. I was like, how did this happen? So I said, kids, we're going to go to the Central Library. I grabbed my super hot wife, Brittany the Shadow, and my super cute kids. And I said, we're going to the library. And this place was amazing. Okay. I know this episode is not about the LA Central Library, but let me tell you, I can tell why people travel to Los Angeles to make a weekend out of it, okay? They literally have a lab with 3D printers, embroidery machines, giant poster machines called the Octavia Lab. They have an entire floor just for genealogy, a floor for religion and philosophy. They've got everything from computer labs to amazing children's books to their own art galleries. Like, some really, really cool photography exhibitions were there. There's this whole Annenberg gallery. And if I'm not mistaken, the same generation of artists and sculptors that made like the Oscar statue, for example, in the Hollywood Bowl, and some of the statues that were in the Pantages Theater and so on and so forth. It was about that same Art Deco time period that a lot of these guys were making some really, really cool statues inside the library. So we got to kind of have our own little self-led architectural tour. Super fun. But I finally said, well, hey, I actually want to check out a book and actually do the library thing here. So when I went to the information desk, okay, the librarian behind the countertop information desk, guy about my age, super cool. And I said, hey, how's it going? I'm looking for maybe this or that. And he looks up and he actually comments. He compliments me. And we'll call him by his first name here. Super cool guy, Andrew. Says, hey, that's a cool hat, man. Like, where'd you get that? And I said, oh, you like it? And I was like, yeah, it's, and he's like, so wait, what's it from? I don't recognize it. Cause it says War in Heaven and then veteran, right? So he's like, that's a cool hat. Where'd you get that? And I said, oh, well, actually I run a podcast. It's merch for a radio program and a podcast that I run. And it's actually based off of, are you familiar with the Bible? And he's, kind of like so on and so forth. He's a librarian. He's probably familiar with every major cultural work in the West, right? And I say it's actually from the Book of Revelation. It talks about a war in heaven, and I realized that you can't just say that. The doctrine of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is unique in our understanding of the premortal life, okay, and the veil and so on and so forth. There's references to it in the Bible. We know when Jesus Christ was crucified that the veil was rent, but nobody really truly understands the significance of that because so many of those plain and precious truths were lost during the apostasy and regained through Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon. They show up in all kinds of apocrypha, interestingly enough, that has only been discovered most recently in the past maybe 20 to 50 years. So I realized I had to go a little bit more in depth. And what better way to go more in depth about the war in heaven and the Book of Revelation than the built-in visual aid on the side. So I said, I took my hat off and I said, oh yeah, well actually you see these symbols on the side, bro? Well, basically like we had a premortal life where we lived with God and supposedly we're all happy. Then there was a great council in heaven saying, okay, an earth's going to get created so that we have, a testing ground to, live our lives and see how we act, at which point we receive our body and then, our spirit goes inside of our body. That's the circle. And we live out our life until boom, we die and we pass through the veil again, at which point and I quickly do basically like a mini first discussion. And I'm not kidding you, 45 seconds or less. All right. It was less than a minute. And the dude was riveted. He was looking at it and he was saying, wow, okay, that's cool. That makes sense. And I realized Jonah Barnes's idea here, coupled with kind of the cool hip design that it morphed into, ended up becoming like a really sick visual aid for explaining the purpose of life. I literally put it on there just because I thought it was cool and kind of Gnostic, and like people might be like, ooh, what's that? Thought maybe it might be some kind of like cool symbol that we continually do on merch and so on and so forth. But I had no idea going into this that we were birthing literally a first discussion. And now I know some purists will say like, well, that's not the first discussion. That's not the first discussion. That's like, I don't know, like the fifth or the third or the second or whatever. But it sufficeth to say, an awesome mini ecclesiastical lesson was completed. And it's right here, built in to the hats. built into the hats. In fact, now at this point, I'm curious to see who's the first person that gets a conversation starter with the body recipient first class, or actually the Nauvoo Legion standard right here. That one, that one would be really cool. I want to see the person that pulls off a Nauvoo Legion discussion. So anyway, I told him, I said, yeah, bro, actually it's in the Bible. I don't have one on me, but heck, you know, I'm going to give one to you because it's in the Book of Revelation. And then also I'm going to give you a Book of Mormon, maybe with a couple of verses marked. So you see actually where all these symbols come from. I was like, dude, free of charge. I'm just going to hit it up because you're the first guy that's noticed my hat. And he said, no way, really? You got to show it. What is it? And I said, yeah, it's Ward Radio. So he gets out, being a librarian. It's awesome. Well, I shouldn't say a librarian. I don't know if he was a docent or what his official title was, but a helpful gentleman at the information desk. So he gets out, you know, his little piece of paper. And obviously I'm not going to dox the dude and show the address on screen. But, you know, he gets out the paper and straight up writes his email address. I said, look, all I need is your email address. I need your name and the address that you want me to send the hat to and the merch to, and I am straight up gonna get this to you. So this is where you guys come in, okay? You're gonna like this. I am straight up going to send him the first hat that comes in this second order of hats, because unfortunately, as you guys know, these hats sold out within like 8 to 12 hours. They ended up being wildly more popular than I anticipated. Okay. And hopefully the second round ends up being even more popular than the first round. But I told this guy, I said, Andrew, I'm going to send you one of these hats, but it's going to take me at least, I'd say, another 3 or 4 days for us to be able to actually manufacture this second round of hats. So this is where I need you guys to come in. We got a new brother here. Okay. First name is Andrew. All right. And he just had a good convo with a member of Ward Radio, the host of Ward Radio, and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and was presented with the symbology right there, the symbology of some of our cool and unique doctrine. So I'm actually going to give him a Book of Mormon and a King James Version of the Bible. I'm hitting up my missionaries in my ward right now, and we're going to send him this cool free stuff. And, you know, who knows? Is it just gonna be some cool interaction that you ended up having with a radio host / podcaster in the library, similar to 50 other awesome interactions he's probably had with other erudites, performers, academics, researchers, so on and so forth. Maybe it ends up kind of just being this fun, cute anecdote that is all but a nothing burger, but a positive interaction one friend had to another. Okay. Or one new acquaintance had with another. Who knows? Maybe God touches his heart and he's like, dude, I want to know more, man. Show me more, baby. And this is the birth of a really cool spiritual journey. We don't know. Everybody's different, but it's going to take me a couple of days to get this hat and to get the stuff I'm going to send him rounded up before it can actually get into a cool Ward Radio box and shipped out to him. So in that meantime, on the comments below, I want anybody that wants to send a message to Andrew that may have been presented the gospel, may have been presented the doctrine of the church, may have been just introduced to friends of our faith and so on and so forth. Just, you know, just write down a little message to this guy and just say like, hey, you know, I heard you met Cardin in the library. Sounds cool. You sound cool. This is how the church has been awesome for me in my experience, okay? You don't need to like do like any crazy testimonies. You don't need to do any kind of like, you know, like, I don't know, tears on the paper or anything. But just like, you know, a solid note to a brother about how, hey, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? We dig this. It helped me. I think it'll help you in your life and you'll like it. And I'm going to include some of those in this Book of Mormon and in this Bible and with this hat that I sent him. So, yeah, if you guys got anything you want to say to our boy, Andrew, just make sure that you comment in this video. And I'm actually going to print out like old school boomer style. I'm going to print out the internet, baby. Just going to press print screen like they had on the old Apple IIc Pluses. Wow, did I just date myself there? But yeah, we're going to print out some of the best comments and I'm going to straight up send him to this guy and then we'll return and we'll report and it'll be this fun thing. I will say our third generation of hats, I just realized right as I was pressing play for this video, I realized I have disrespected the legacy of Jonah Barnes. If you notice, there's a small difference between his symbols here and my symbols there. On his symbols here, there's premortal life, spirit present in paradise. Then there's the veil and the resurrection or whatever. And then there's the 3 degrees of glory. But then there's another final dot. What's that final dot? I assume that's outer darkness. But dude, we only have the 3 degrees of glory on this hat. We don't have that bottom dot. I have besmirched the legacy of the associate professor of all things apocryphal. I am ashamed and I repent. Jonah Barnes, you made a beautiful thing and I flubbed it. So on the third generation, we'll make sure this comes out. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if your guys' hats have spurred any conversation. And as always, to pick up your own shirt or your own hat, check us out at wardradio.com.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up, top of the morning. The bacon is crispy, the coffee is pouring. My meditation is peeling an orange. The bank says I'm already scoring.